Yes, it's true. The Laval Rocket have been the ones in the Canadiens organization enjoying the bulk of the success this season. But that doesn't mean that they haven't been without their struggles as well. But one thing's for certain, it is the Habs prospect pipeline that's really leading the way for the Habs AHL affiliate. Hi friends, welcome to the channel. My name is Amy Johnson and I am a credentialed reporter covering the Montreal Canadiens and the Laval Rocket for Rocket Sports Media. And today I want to give you a quick update on the Habs AHL affiliate to get an idea of who's really succeeding and who's kind of struggling and how the team is performing overall. So let's start with the big picture. You might recall on a previous video, we talked about the fact that the Rocket went on a franchise record-setting 8-game win streak just a little bit over a month ago. Ever since then, they've played 10 games and things have not gone quite as smoothly for Pascal Vincent's club. In fact, they're sitting right at about 500 in the last 10 games with 5 wins and 5 losses. And really, until they got an overtime win this Wednesday night playing against the Syracuse Crunch, things were starting to get a bit worrisome for Laval because they had won a game and then lost 2 games, then managed to get another win. And in that game against Syracuse on Wednesday night, it actually went to overtime. Not sure if it was going to turn out to be a victory or not. Laval was facing a 4-game losing streak, but it was Owen Beck scoring in overtime to ensure that they snapped that losing streak at 3 games and they're back in the win column. The question now is, will they repeat that pattern of just 1 win and then 2 or 3 losses strung together, or can they turn it around and put together a couple of back-to-back wins and maybe even more than that? I'll get you updated on what that's done to Laval in terms of the overall standings for the division and for the league in general in just a couple of minutes. But first, I want to break down just who is leading the way for Laval in a number of key statistical areas. And Habs fans, I have to say, these little bits of information should leave you very optimistic for where the Canadiens organization is going to end up in another season or two. All of these statistics are going to be comparing who is topping the charts in certain areas just on the Laval Rocket. And leading the way in goals for the team is Jared Davidson. He is the only player on the team with double-digit goals. He is sitting with 10 goals, and it's another prospect, Joshua Waugh, sitting right behind him with 9 goals on the season. Davidson has had a very strong start to this year, building off of what was a very positive second half of the season last year, and he has just taken another step forward this year, really coming together in a lot of different ways, but he is leading the team in goals. When you look at the assists statistics for the Laval Rocket, it's another prospect, Owen Beck, leading the way for the Rocket in assists this season with 12. That actually also puts him in the top 10 for assists league-wide for rookies, which is a pretty important statistic as well. Sitting just behind Owen Beck on the assist chart is Alex Barré-Boulet with 11 points. This is significant just because we've talked a few times about how the Canadiens signing Barré-Boulet to an NHL two-way deal over the summer was a bit of a head-scratcher when Alex Barré-Boulet's real strength lies in the AHL. He is absolutely dominant in the American Hockey League, and he is doing that again this season. 11 assists so far on the season, and just behind the two of them, Logan Mailloux and Adam Engstrom, 2 defensemen, are tied for 3rd on the team in assists. They each have 9 assists, so we're seeing some really offensive young defensemen coming up through the ranks and succeeding in Laval so far this year. Now, when it comes to points totals for the Laval Rocket, Joshua Waugh and Alex Barré-Boulet are tied at the top of the charts for Laval with 17 points apiece, and that shouldn't really come as any surprise. Joshua Waugh had a bit of a slow start, then kind of heated things up a bit. That earned him a call-up. Although the call-up did not last very long, just kind of like the same thing that happened during training camp, Joshua Waugh wasn't able to find a way to make himself really stand out at the NHL level with the Montreal Canadiens yet. So I think it's better for him to be in Laval, where he can just continue to build confidence, get good experience, and keep racking the numbers up. So he and Barré-Boulet are tied for the points race for Laval at 17 apiece. Owen Beck is right on their heels with 16 points. And once again, that puts Owen Beck in the top 10 league-wide for rookies in the points race. We'll even go a little further down this chart. Coming in third in the points race for Laval is Jared Davidson at 15, and right behind him in fourth place for Laval is Logan Mailloux with 14 points. So just in that top four, those are the guys who are leading the points for Laval Rocket this year. We've got Joshua Waugh, Owen Beck, Jared Davidson, Logan Mailloux. There is essentially the core four that you're really going to be watching out for in the next season or two, and they could make a big impact when they transition to the NHL. Power play goals, we've got those as well. That is the place that Joshua Waugh has had plenty of success this season, and he leads the team with power play goals. He's got 5 on the year, and in fact, that's got him tied for third place league-wide for power play goals. Right behind him, Jared Davidson has 3 power play goals on the season. So again, 2 young, dynamic forward prospects for the Canadiens are the ones topping the charts. Now, you remember what I just said about Alex Barré-Boulet, that it makes sense for him to be AHL focused. And if you look at points per game for the Laval Rocket, he is at the top. He is averaging right now 1.21 points per game. That is a terrific pace for him to be on. It's what we expect a guy like Alex Barré-Boulet to be doing in the AHL. What I find interesting are the next 4 guys in that lineup, aside from Philip Meshar, which I kind of take out of that equation because he's been injured since the 6th game of the season. But the next 4 after Alex Barré-Boulet in points per game are Joshua Waugh, Logan Mailloux, Jared Davidson, and Owen Beck. Gee, those names sound familiar. They're the ones that keep popping up over and over and over again. So all of that sounds great. So where are some of the struggles happening for Laval? And I'm not going to count this necessarily as a struggle, but it's not necessarily a statistic that you want to be leading on the team. Who has the top number of penalty minutes on the team? Are you really surprised that it's a Jack guy? Yes, Florian Jack guy leading the Laval Rocket in penalty minutes with 35 so far on the season. That's actually got him tied for 4th league-wide among rookies for penalty minutes. So he's kind of carrying on the tradition very nicely, just like his brother. Now, having come back from injury and also clearing waivers, Raphael Harvey-Bernard is now back with Laval kind of full-time for now. He's only played in 6 games, but you can see why they put him on waivers to loan him to Laval, because really it's going to take Harvey-Bernard a little bit of time to get back to game condition and a really high-level kind of production like we used to see from him in previous years. In his 6 games played, he only has 2 goals, and that's actually pretty slow production for HP. I expect that we will see that tick up as things progress and as he gets more and more comfortable and better conditioned over the next couple of weeks and maybe over the course of the next month. But right now, it's been a bit of a slow start for Raphael Harvey-Bernard. One prospect that I feel is certainly underperforming this year is Sean Farrell. Sean Farrell does not have a goal yet on this season, and in fact, he only has 2 assists. He is basically kind of in terms of prospects that we expect to have some production. He's really fallen behind a lot of his other teammates and competitors within the team. No goals, 2 assists, and he's a -5 on the season. That is the worst of the plus-minus ratings on the team. So Sean Farrell certainly has plenty of room to grow and certainly plenty of room to improve as the season goes on. I hope to see that happen, but this is not Sean Farrell's first season with Laval. If he doesn't start finding a way to turn things around and be a bit more defensively reliable and find a way to get on the score sheet a little bit more often, even add some more assists than just the 2 that he has, then we might not see the overall kind of success that we had originally hoped to see from Sean Farrell. But I'm not writing him off yet. It's early in the season. Hopefully things turn around for him. And when it comes to the goaltenders, I have nothing to say other than they have been pretty rock solid overall. They've both got great goals against averages, great save percentages, and they're just doing a solid job in net, both of them, no matter which one is in the net each night. For me, if I had to say there's one forward or one defenseman who has stood out among the Habs prospects so far in this first quarter of the season, on defense, it's absolutely been Logan Mailloux again, and he had such a strong season last year. For the forwards, hands down, I would actually have to say it's Owen Beck. Owen Beck is really impressing me with his consistency, his production level, the maturity in his game for being a rookie. And I think that he's going to cause plenty of internal competition as he continues to excel. So with all of that said, and despite the fact that there's been a bit of a rocky road trip for the Laval Rocket this past 2 or 3 weeks, where has that put them as far as the standings go? Well, I have good news for you here. They are 14-6-1 on the season. They are still doing a terrific job in terms of the standings. They are tied for first place with the Cleveland Monsters in the North Division, and that also has them tied with Cleveland for number 4 overall in the AHL. So Laval has not slipped too far down the lineup, and they are still at the top of the division. And it's all looking pretty rosy for Pascal Vincent's club. We just have to see them continue to improve and get back to more winning than those losses that we've seen them take on the road these past couple of weeks. With that in mind, they now come back to Place Belle for 3 games, 2 of them against the Toronto Marlies, 1 of them against the Rochester Americans. These are 3 important games coming up the next week, not only because they're both division rivals, but because Toronto and Rochester are tied just behind Cleveland and Laval in the standings in the North Division. They are tied 4 points behind Laval and Cleveland, and so it is going to be important for Laval to find a way to win on home ice and make sure that they keep that gap between themselves, Toronto, and Rochester as wide as they possibly can. So how and why are the Laval Rocket finding so much success within the Canadiens organization this season and kind of dominating their portion of the American Hockey League? Some of it is the pure talent and skill of the players on the team, whether it's prospects or veterans. Part of it is having the right mix on the roster. Part of it is a brand new coach. And we actually went in depth about all of the reasons why Laval is really turned things around this season with a hockey expert who joined us on our most recent episode of the Canadiens Connection podcast. So I would invite you to check out this video right here. Listen to that interview. Lots of great insight there. And I'll see you again next time.